As a 20-something-year-old who still embraces cartoons, can I just say that I absolutely love the Owl House? It actually surprises me that a show of this caliber is on Disney Channel given how the quality of the newer shows on that channel are not as great as their counterparts back when I was a kid. But I do love Andy Mack though, and that came out like 3 to 4 years ago, so there's that. Like, I remember telling myself when I first started to watch The Owl House that this show is pretty dang awesome. I can also distinctly remember myself crying at the scene of Ida sacrificing herself to save Luz in episode 18. I never thought that I would be so invested in the characters like that. Hence why I've decided to make this video to count down my top 5 favorite relationships on The Owl House. And at the same time, I want to throw in a couple of predictions and hopes I have when it comes to those relationships in season 2, which is coming out very soon, so here we go. Coming in at number 5 is quite a controversial pick, and it's Ida and Lilith. Throughout the season, they've been presented as each other's rivals since Lilith was tasked by Emperor Bellows to capture Ida, but if you really dig down deep into the core of their relationship, they love each other as sisters through and through. It's just that certain sticky situations that presented themselves to Lilith had caused her to make bad decisions, and that really put a wedge between their relationship. But luckily, after realizing that Emperor Bellows has no intention of healing Ida of her curse, which Lilith caused by the way, Lilith finally decided to get on Ida's side and even shared the effects of the curse with her sister. Their dynamic is probably the most complex one in the show because it's built on years and years of history and beef. But now that they are on the same side now, I can't wait for them to rebuild the relationship they once had. But I feel like there's gonna be a lot of drama between the two, especially now that they're living in the same house and they're now learning magic from Luz, of all people. Coming in at number 4 is Luz and Willow. I picked them as number 4 because first of all, they are so cute together. I love how they're so supportive to one another. Like, if it wasn't for Luz, I don't think Willow would be as confident as she is by the end of season 1. And if it wasn't for Willow, I think Luz would probably be in much more serious trouble. I actually think that Luz being in Willow's life is the best thing that can ever happen to her. For example, Luz helped her and Amity become friends again, or at least be friendly again, and she gave Willow the confidence to stand up to Basha so that she would stop bullying her. And no tea, no shade to Gus, but I just preferred their relationship a lot more. I know that Gus and Willow are supposed to be longtime best friends, but I feel like Gus can sometimes be reduced to being the comic relief of the show, which is a bit of a shame. Third place goes to Luz and King. Their relationship has gone through such a transformation throughout the season. At first, Luz saw King merely as a cute little pet with a dark side and an odd personality, but episode 4 was the first time she started to view King as her friend and her equal. Don't get me wrong, I love it whenever King acts like a pat cat and gets treated like one, like in episode 11, but it's nice to see that they grew into more of a companionship, and by the end of the series, they really love each other and it's so precious. Episode 14 really demonstrated that when King got really jealous seeing Luz hanging out with Willow and Gus, which made him admit to her that he wants to be around her, which is code for he loves her. Aww. My pick for number 2 might surprise you, but here it goes. It's actually Luz and Amity. Okay, you might think that I would put them in my number 1 spot, but I believe that spot belongs to another relationship, by a clear mile actually. Anyways, they're my second favorite relationship on the show because their growth from being rivals to close friends, borderline each other's crushes, is astounding. Early on, Amity was pretty abrasive when we first met her, but Luz coming into her life has softened her up for the better. They really complement each other because they bring out the best in each other, even if we're just talking on a friendship level. In terms of the juxtaposition of Luz and Amity being a potential couple, it's pretty clear that Amity has romantic feelings for Luz, as demonstrated by the countless of times she blushes whenever she makes any sort of physical contact with Luz, or whenever Luz compliments her. And my favorite moment was in episode 17 when Amity blushed when Luz suggested to carry Amity after she had broken her leg. And how she describes Luz to Gus and Willow, all of the traits she likes about Luz, gets me every time. If I'm being completely honest, with Luz, I don't think I've seen her truly reciprocate those same feelings towards Amity. I don't know, I really don't know. I always take Luz's gestures towards Amity to come from a place of, hey, let's be friends. I think a lot of people can see that Luz likes Amity back, but personally, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's because I have high standards when it comes to these things. Regardless of what I think, it's confirmed that both girls are part of the LGBTQ+ community. I personally think from what I've seen that both of them are bisexual, but I know that Dana Terrace, the creator of the Owl House, said that Amity is lesbian and Luz is bisexual. Not that it matters in this situation, but I do think that they're both bisexual because in episode 12, Amity drew herself with Malingale the mysterious soothsayer, whom I presume is male or male presenting, in a sort of romantic scenario. And with Luz, she did mention in episode 13 how she wants to meet hot and vulnerable upperclassmen. But when she said classmen, it can include girls, I suppose. But if you could recall early in the series, she was swooning over Nevereth Bladestrife, who is the fake teen prince of Angstmore. So yeah. In season 2, I'm really hoping that Disney is actually going to make them a canon couple, and I think Disney Channel has the capacity to do so because they already made Cyrus and TJ a canon couple, but it wasn't made as explicit as I would like it to be, but hey, it's canon. The only Luz and Amity tidbit we got from the trailer is a shot of them holding hands. So there is definitely going to be more flirtations going on, but whether we will get any sort of confession from the girls is still up in the air. So we shall see, but I better see Amity walking and not being bedridden anymore from the get-go in season 2 episode 1. And my number 1 most favorite relationship in the Owl House is Ida and Luz. I think they have the best relationship because their relationship transcends to almost being like a mother-daughter relationship, but at the same time, their relationship is kind of free from a lot of the mother-daughter relationship tropes we see or tend to see in media, and that's mostly because Ida is more of a free spirit, although still very protective over Luz. A lot of the things that Ida did for Luz, like doing community service to get Luz enrolled at Hexite High and bailing Luz out from all of the shenanigans that she got herself into, despite the cause of that is Luz being reckless and not listening to Ida's advice, really shows us that she loves Luz very much. And the same goes for Luz towards Ida. She's willing to risk everything just to save Ida from being petrified into stone by Emperor Bellos in the season finale. Now that's a relationship that deserves my number 1 spot. So that was my top 5 list of favorite character relationships on the Owl House. I also threw in a little season 2 discussion for good measure. Which, speaking of season 2, I will try to cover each episode weekly or whenever a scene or character moment catches my attention, which would make me want to talk about it with you guys. So, I want to thank all of you so much for watching this video. Please like and share this video if you can, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to check out more The Owl House content from me. I want you all to have an enchanting day ahead, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!